right? Your conscious mind is the 10% that you just mentioned. The rest of the 90% is your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, and you already know because we've gone through this in the class. Your subconscious mind is
Yeah.
the God mind. That's the universal mind, right? One of the great tools that you'll be able to use on this journey is the law of correspondence. So that 10% and that 90%, right? Or let's just say a fraction and the rest of the whole, you can see on multiple planes of existence. So we see it on our on the consciousness level as a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. They have that same ratio in the universe, where there's a small percentage, 5%, which they say is physical matter. Everything that we interact with is based on the 5% of this whole universe. The rest of the 95% is what they refer to as dark matter, dark energy. So again, you're seeing a correspondence of it playing out on a conscious physical level, and it's also playing out on a universal level because you and the universe are one and the same. You're just a microcosm of the macrocosm. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so,
Yeah.
with that being said, now, when you take these substances, which are ancient technologies, it 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 starts to loosen the reducing valve, which is saying is it starts to subdue the conscious mind. Your conscious mind is the rational mind, the logical mind, the mind that sees in duality. It has to discern between left and right in order to get a whole understanding. It has to discern between up and down, good and bad, masculine and feminine, the duality. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whereas spirituality, you're always hearing about this oneness, everything is one and we're all one. And you understand what I'm saying? But on a human level, you are designed to see shit in duality. So that's saying, if you read between the lines, the obstacle that stops us from perceiving the all is our own selves, is what we define as ourselves, our conscious mind, our beliefs in our individual identity is the very thing that it plays as an obstacle for greater understanding. Now, this is a very nuanced understanding because it's really you versus you at the end of the day, right?
Mm.
The you who you really are and the you that you've been trained to believe that you are. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this you that you think you are is none other than a set of programs that you received in your early rearing childhood, where you was learning about your identity. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so this is it's a paradoxical truth, right? We're trying to get over something that is the very basis or foundation of physical existence, of your human existence. But if you're claiming to be a spiritual being having a human experience, then you are claiming to know the difference. You're claiming to know that there's a distinction between your human self, right, or the human experience and the spiritual self. But what you will find is most people don't know that. They have those words, they will say that, but then they will try everything in their power to make their human lives good. They get into spirituality because they just want to live a good human life. Whereas when you get into the indigenous occult wisdom of spirituality, oh, it was all about the destruction of your humanness, or let's say your human thought. It was about the destruction of your limited capability of perceiving all that there is, and therefore defining things in a limited sense, which is actually that which creates the prison or the matrix. Your conscious mind is the matrix. I see you have a question, bro.
Yeah. So when you look at certain Eastern philosophies, which we know already, a lot of that is derived from some indigenous African and Kemetic uh, spiritual knowledge. Um, the yin and the yang,
Mhm.
when you look at that circle
Mhm.
and they say the yin and the yang, one is more representative of order, others chaos, one masculine, feminine, and then you have elements
Right.
that like fire and I believe wind is more masculine, and they say the water and the earth is more motherly, and you have it in that circle. Is that a
Mhm.
representation of these two things coming together and becoming one, or is it still a separation on the basis of duality? Is that
Mhm.
giving like an example of what is trying to show an integration or a
Right.
balance, or is it not
I hear
quite
you. I
on
hear
that
you.
level?
And let me give you the occult wisdom of spirituality on that.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as duality.
Okay.
That's an illusion. You understand what I'm saying? But in order to comprehend that, there's an internal process you must go through. It's not a logical understanding like we just went through,
Mm,
that our logical minds are incapable of perceiving this thing. So we need to kind of, leave that where that is. You understand what I'm saying? And
yeah.
allow or step into the realms you mentioned, chaos. Yeah,
Mm,
order and chaos. Chaos begat order. It gave birth to order, the same way darkness gave birth to light.
mm,
Again, this is an understanding that you can comprehend, but you really want to understand it from your true brain or your true mind, which is your heart space. Do you understand what I'm saying, right? Because within your heart space, that's where all dualities cease to exist. That's the place where duality becomes unified or integrated. And so anybody that's on this path that's, trying to be spiritual, but not necessarily doing the internal work to be able to enter into their own heart space, they're not really doing anything. They're like a hamster on a hamster wheel. It looks like they're going somewhere, but they ain't really moving. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so that's the end and be all. The like one of the biggest illusions down here is balance. As crazy as that sounds, is balance. The yin yang symbol, which represents duality, has an origin. That comes from Taiji, which comes from something called Wuji. Wuji is the symbol of Wuji is a circle, just a circle. That circle is what gave birth to Taiji, which means great pole. So when you're looking at the yin and yang thing, you're looking at the great pole or the great polarity. Whereas that which it came from is called Wuji, Wuji, and that's the
mm,
nothingness. That's the emptiness, not nothingness as we can comprehend it, but it's speaking to something as no thingness. Because
mm-hmm,
once something is a thing, it has a name and form, right? That's what constitutes something being a thing. It's now in the physical form, right? So it's no longer unlimited. It's now limited in its definition. Whereas when you're getting into spirituality now, you are accessing the chaos realm, which represents unlimited potential. It is chaos from a logical standpoint. It looks chaotic from your logical mind. Chaos is simply order that the logical mind cannot comprehend. So it labels it crazy. It labels it demonic. It labels it evil and therefore creates this illusion of separation. That's evil. So therefore, I must be good, or this is good over there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. I see you got a question, bro, but don't get me wrong that it's not we're applying a holistic understanding here, holistic with a W, a holistic understanding. So it's not necessarily about demonizing one thing or throwing away anything. We're not saying or demonizing duality and say, yo, no, it's like when I say duality is an illusion, automatically people will think, well, he means that it doesn't exist. No, the word illusion is a Latin word and it means to play. It means to play. And the way you play down here is by using an active imagination. The way you play down here is actually being the alchemist. right?